What's going on, folks? How you beautiful people in YouTube doing? I am Goat. Welcome back to Warframe. We're here to talk about the aight. I mean, it's a scythe, right? It's not a bad scythe either. It's a slash-based, interesting scythe. Is it as good as something like the Reaper Prime? Absolutely not. No. But has it been a pretty, like, okay to decent weapon to use? Yeah, it really has. Like, I've had fun with it. It was on one of my loadouts. Again, on one of my lesser used loadouts, just because I more preferably like glaives. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with using a scythe. It's just when you have the choice between the Reaper Prime or the fucking aight, the Reaper Prime even now still wins. So the evolutions are as follows. Evolution 2 goes down to increased damage by plus 30 with Dread and Despair equipped, plus 30 initial combo. That is really stupid. I didn't really find that there was any good Evolution 2 here, so I just chose that. I really don't even give a shit. Like, that will never, ever be a thing. Evolution 3, I went for 0.8 range. You go for whatever the fuck you want to. Again, the utility side of the Evolution 3, it's just kind of weird. And then the Evolution 4 was critical chance. Like, why not? It's a crit-based weapon anyway. So, the build. The build. Okay, so we are on a Blood Rush. Blood Rush build. I mean, what else do you say? It's very simple. It's nothing amazing, just going for specific damage types, you know, decent damage multiplier, sacrificial steel, prime pressure point, blood rush, a little bit of speed added to it, not even a lot, just wee bit. You know, and the plus 20 combo count chance is good. Now, could you take a little bit less, right? Could you actually take, oh my god, me and this fucking fan, I swear to god, my fan just keeps walking away from me. So could you take 20% less speed and put Gladiator Vice on there and get an additional 10% critical chance per combo multiplier? Yes, you absolutely could. Like 100%. It's going to go from 1.28 to 1.19. Like, okay. I just personally like quickening. A little bit more speed for me is better, and Blood Rush is going to stack up with this fucking thing. Now, I mean, the numbers are the numbers, right? There's like, with from what I'm seeing, with what everybody's basically saying, is that there really isn't anything telling anybody what the fuck the Incarnon actually does until you go to use the damn thing. Like, some of them, I think the Skana is something about using, you know, like freezing enemies whenever you do a finisher. The Sibir cold procs enemies. This thing is kind of the same, but I don't even really know what the fuck it does. Not even gonna lie, I have no fucking clue what the fuck this thing actually does other than it chucks a projectile. And it seems to be a cold-based projectile, from what I can tell. But hey, you know what? Let's just go look at this interesting mystery of a fucking weapon. Because unless you are just linked the fuck in with everything, and you really feel like reading a biography of updates and informational pieces about, you know, what the hell every Incarnon does, you're going to be more like me and just be like, well, that does something. The only thing I do know is that the cooldown is like 3 minutes. And that's where I have a dramatically huge problem with this weapon. Like, what the fuck is the point in having an Incarnon side to this weapon if the fucking cooldown is literally this long? Okay,
they have just shut
like,
down
I don't mind if it's like a minute and a half. Okay, every minute and a half you can bust out the Incarnon side. Okay. Would you like to be these guys too, by the way? Just getting your ass whipped by the Invisible Man. Okay, so here we come to okay, we see this funky little projectile. I made sure to put these colors on just so you can see what the fuck it's doing. See that little projectile? That's what it does. Nifty. I mean, you can see this thing, especially just with the Incarnon buffs alone. It works. It works just fucking fine. And you don't need, you know, the Incarnon side of this weapon at all You can literally just hack and slash your way through deep swaths of enemies to your heart's fucking content, and it will just red crit its ass off and just have a good old fucking time doing it. Hey, fuck you. You can see, you know, you'll be able to, if you went with Gladiator Vice rather than Quickening, it's really not going to make a huge difference. You see, it's just sitting there chucking a little projectile. But to get the actual Incarnon form, like you see a little counter up at the top, it's at 93, 92, 91. So, like, here's the big posing question about the hate. Is it anything special? Right? Like, I mean, you know, is it really anything special? No. It's fun because of the critical boost and blood rush. And especially if you do Gladiator Vice and Gladiator Might, you're going to get a whole bunch of critical chance pop-ups, so you're going to get a ton of red crits. But does that make it, like, better than the Reaper Prime? No, because, I mean, you could basically make the Reaper Prime do the exact same thing without some weird little projectile flying out of the goddamn thing that makes you second-guess your existence as to what the fuck it's actually doing. And I know, it sounds very misinformed for me to put it that way. The truth of it is that, you know, like, with these Incarnon Genesis, you're kind of left to figure it the fuck out, right? It's like the whole fuck around and find out mentality. Especially with the melees, from everything that I'm seeing, it's just a fuck around and find out. Here, by the way, this is potentially going to do something. You don't really know what until you play around with it for a while. It seems as though it slows enemies, cold procs them, possibly. I don't really know, but it seems like when the projectile hits an enemy, the area of enemies around them gets slowed. So I'm assuming it's some sort of a cold proc, but I could be entirely incorrect about that. But either way, I mean, is it bad if you chose to hate? Absolutely not. I mean, especially at this point, we had, you know, 2 weeks of a bug on the 6th rotation of fucking Incarnon Genesis, which is why I'm doing the hate right now. I would be doing the Despair, then the hate, but I still have to reform the Despair. So in turn, I'll be doing the Brat and then the Lotto next. So, I mean, don't kick yourself in the ass for choosing the hate, because honestly, it's not terrible. I still think that the Reaper Prime outperforms it, but it's good. I mean, it's good. It's nothing fantastic, but it obviously more than handles the fucking Steel Path just fine and dandy. So, I mean, use it to your heart's content, all right? So, with all that said, man, thanks very much for watching. Sorry about the, you know, the lack of information on what the Incarnate side does, but you know what, if they don't make it obvious and apparent, I'm going to just treat it that way, right? Like, let's not go digging and too crazy about this. Let me just look at the stats and go, oh, well, this doesn't tell me what it does. Cool, let's just fuck around and find out, right? So folks, I do want to thank you very much for watching. As always, catch you in the next one.